Crunch, your weekly video game podcast. My name is Mike Anastasia, and with me today with Nick
Heyo.
and Brandon.
Hello.
And we're here to talk about games and things.
Games and things.
Games.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it should be all games this week, though. We got game stuff to talk about.
Yeah, for the
Maybe.
most part.
Unless Nick has a mystery thing. I don't know.
No.
No mystery movie this week. All right.
I did see a movie, but
That we're talking about.
No. It's got Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum in it. So.
Oh, I watched that movie too. It wasn't bad. I liked it.
It was okay.
What movie did you watch?
What is it? Lost something?
Lost City.
Yeah, Lost City.
The best part of it was Daniel Radcliffe.
Honestly, the best part of it was Brad Pitt.
That was great too.
Yeah, it was like the movie was just kind of, I don't know, it was a popcorn movie.
Yeah,
it was just kind of like nice to just kind of have on. Just kind of, it had some good one-liners.
All right, fair.
Mm-hmm. But we're gonna talk about games. So.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, and Brandon's dying to talk to you about his brand new purchase.
I got a lot of things to talk about. I haven't been hyping it up for. Well, yeah, I have.
Literally weeks.
I've been hyped up for it, dude. I've been hyped up for it.
Guess about this new purchase I bought for my Steam Deck.
Listen, I've been hyped up for it. Okay.
Because I know, and you've been sharing the hype, so now it's time to share the love.
Yep.
How is it?
It's great.
Right.
The end. I'm just kidding. No, I got a lot of things.
I like it.
I got a lot of things to talk about with it. It can be complicated if you want to install anything that isn't in general. What's the word I'm looking for?
Steam certified or whatever.
Steam, yeah, verified. There we go. Sure, yeah. Otherwise, it works great. Like, it's fantastic. It's probably one of the. Oh God, everything's being a bitch. Real quick, hold on. Okay, it's probably one of the better handhelds I've ever used. It's incredibly responsive. It just has pretty much everything I need in order for it to actually run, and it just works. So when I say if you're not tinkering with it, for instance, I've installed a couple of things on mine that aren't exactly Steam games. I got a little of this and a little of that. Got some Game Boy Advance, PSP, Wii, which the Wii is what I'm fucking struggling with right now. I just cannot figure this one out. But everything else seems to just work basically when I want it to. But that Wii is just not wanting to cooperate at all. But in general,
is the same thing.
Sure, Mike.
That was a great joke. A+.
No, that wasn't great. It was
dumb.
Of course you would. Okay. But anyway, moving on from that. Pretty much every game I've thrown at it has worked unless it's not supposed to work. And some of the ones that even weren't supposed to work have worked through the use of things like Proton. I played Yakuza 0 at 60 FPS, full screen with high settings or max settings. No problem whatsoever. No dips, no slips, no drips. I don't fucking know what I'm trying to say, but it's great. It works.
It's got a non-drip pan.
It works really well. I played Elden Ring.
That's the problem with your Wii. I mean, if it's dripping like that,
it knocks out the fat.
I played Elden Ring, and it's just worked basically, and I love it.
All right, Todd.
What?
You said it just worked.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Brandon's just not picking up on what we're throwing down today.
No, I'm picking up. I just don't care. I'm frustrated, and your jokes are pissing me off. So there's that. But in general, yeah, everything's been a lot of fun that I've thrown at it. I don't know. Just ask me some questions so I can give you some answers. That's what I want. Ask me some questions about it.
How's battery life?
Depending on how I set it up, really good or not so much.
What does that even mean?
So, there's a nifty little 3-dot button on the right side, and that button then has a battery, and if you go to the battery and go to, advanced view, you can then set it up to, cap the frame rate, turn on half-rate shading, turn on, a FSR option, turn on thermal power, the TDP limit, and if you change the TDP limit, and you can change it per game, it'll actually tell you how much projected battery life you have. So when I'm doing something like playing PSP, for instance, through an emulator. Its battery life is close to something like 5-6 hours. If I do something like play Elden Ring, it's closer to like 2.5 to 3 hours. But I am playing Elden Ring on like, the highest of the high settings and that sort of deal. So that's something to keep in mind when essentially doing that. But in general, it's really good. I don't really have any problems with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I know. I'm trying to think of a question.
Can it play Crisis?
Probably. I haven't tried, but I can try if you want me to.
It probably can play Crisis.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean,
I
probably
hope
can.
so. Not just like hard crashes. Doesn't even.
Who? All right. I feel like this is a good one. So, considering you and I, Brandon, both have like gaming computers,
yes,
would you say the Steam Deck would be a good addition to people like us, or would you say you're good probably just having a PC still? Like you don't really need it.
So I think this is one of the best handhelds I've ever played.
Okay.
Like easily, it is easily one of the best handhelds I've ever played. Mostly because if you could tinker with things like you've already done on your gaming PC, and you don't mind like trying this, that, and the other, it is every handheld you've ever played. So like, yeah, why wouldn't every handheld you've ever played be one of the best handheld you've ever played?
That's
so
fair.
Since you have the option to do that, I think it just makes it a lot better.
Okay.
Have you tried it like Doctor or something like that?
What?
Have you tried it hooked up to like a monitor?
So I have hooked it up to a monitor, and that's where I would say I've had a few issues because it wants to run the thing in your monitor's native resolution, which is totally fine, but then it wants to run your oh god, what's the word I'm looking for? Your my brain stopped working. Give me 1 second. It wants to run things like your Steam Deck itself in its native resolution. So sometimes it can be a little bit tricky, but if you boot it in something like desktop mode, for instance, and then you go into your Steam Deck through that, because it's super easy to go into desktop mode, that running at like 1080p or 4K or whatever you decide to run it at is going to be totally fine. You're not going to have any issue whatsoever. And it works very, very well. So there's that. Let's see. Let me think of a few other things.
What about with accessories? Have you tried using any controllers or anything with it?
I have used a PlayStation 5 controller on the Steam Deck, and it works totally fine. No issue whatsoever. It just reads it instantly through Bluetooth. So that works. I'm sure all the other controllers work as well. I have a weird issue trying to connect a Xbox controller. But that seems like something that is more of a issue that I need to figure out than a problem with the Steam Deck itself. And that's what it comes down to a lot. If you don't mind tinkering with things or you even like tinkering with things, you're going to have a lot of fun with the Steam Deck because there is a ton of things you can do here. I really like it because it feels like a culmination of every kind of handheld or anything that could be a handheld. Like, for instance, hey, man, you want like a fucking GameCube as a handheld? Yeah, you can do that. And because of that, I think it's really like just good in general. I can't figure out why some things don't work, and sometimes that gets me really annoyed. But like, if you like learning how to fucking tinker with things and whatnot, it's really cool in that aspect as well. So I wouldn't recommend this to someone that doesn't just wants everything to be plug and play, because sometimes things just aren't going to be plug and play, and that's a little bit of an issue. And I think that also makes it a little bit less what's the word I'm looking for? Approachable to those that just want to be able to be like, okay, I'm going to play my games like a normal handheld. But I mean, if you stick to the things that are listed as plays great on the Steam Deck, then I don't think you'll have a problem, because pretty much everything that says plays great on Steam Deck, there is literally no issue with whatsoever. I've run into no problems with any of that. So
that's good. I mean, it's ideally what you want it to be.
Yeah, exactly. So even some of the things that are like yellow, which just means like there's some issues with it. The issues are so negligible that like it's totally fine. So pretty much every game I've thrown in it that has either a yellow exclamation mark or a green like check mark, I've had zero issues playing. I've even done things such as install the Epic Game Store and install games through that, and I have had no issues with that as well. So I really think there's a lot here because of the fact that there's just so much that opens up to you. You pretty much have the entire back catalog if you're willing to do some tinkering up to like the fucking PlayStation 3 that you could play on a handheld. And that's very impressive because the power of this thing is actually like incredible. So there's all that.
Yeah, it's nice it's able to go and do that. I mean, I think with you having to say like there's tinkering. I mean, I think that means it's not for everyone, but
yes, exactly.
But still, I mean,
if you stay away from like things like emulators or like things like installing the Epic Game Store, then
I'm guessing if you just
there's no tinkering
with your
then.
Steam library, like it probably then
you've got no problem then. Yeah.
Which I mean, the Steam library is nothing to scoff at.
No. I mean, some people have less games than I have.
Most people have less games than you do. What's the number? Like 10,000 or something disgusting?
That's like 1,400.
Oh, okay.
It's not that much.
Sorry, I had an extra zero.
It's fine.
Yeah, but no, that's still. I mean, that's a lot. That's pretty nice. And in terms of like time amounted there, I mean, that's probably generations worth of video games.
Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, all in all, it's just great. I've got like no real issues with it as a whole.
How's its amiibo support?
I mean, you laugh, right?
I'm sure you probably could.
I probably could.
Actually, I think it could be that because I bet if you just got like the 3DS like amiibo reader thing, and plug that into the Steam Deck, I'm sure someone made it so that it works.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure you're like 100% right.
Does it have a Game Boy printer you can plug into it?
You know what? I might be able to work something out.
I still really want to get one of these, truthfully, but probably not yet. I might wait a little bit longer. Mostly because I'm still trying to just build a new PC for myself, which I don't know if you've looked recently, but like you can actually just buy a video card now.
Yes, I have looked recently. I'm very impressed with the fact that you can do that now, finally.
Bless up to the crypto crash. Love it. Thank you so much.
Very happy about that.
So, like, now I'm like, let's build maybe another computer first, and then maybe I'll think about getting a Steam Deck. But for now, like, it's still really cool. I keep seeing people, like, use them and, like, be happy with them. So, like, that's really good, because I know Valve Tech usually is, like, it can be touch and go.
Definitely.
So, like, I'm glad it's, like, not bad. And, like, how's the overall build quality? Like, does the overall build quality feel good, or?
Oh, absolutely. I've got, like, no complaints with the overall build quality. It feels incredible, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah.
It's... So, I'd say the only thing that, like, feels a little weird to me is probably the mouse, but I haven't, like, learned how to, like, dial it in the way I want to yet. So there's that. Other than that, no, it's great. It is actually fantastic. Yeah, I think if I'd, like, turned up the sensitivity on the, like, trackpad mouse stuff, it'd be way better, but I just haven't done that yet, so.
Okay.
So there's that.
Hey, you didn't get, like, the dock or anything with it, right?
No, you can't buy the docks yet. Those got delayed. So, you'd have to, like, create your own, which I've kind of got an idea of how to go about doing that, but I haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
Has no one done, like, a third-party one even yet?
They have. That's how I would go about doing that. There's one you can buy for, like, $12.99 on Amazon, but it also has, like, an attachment that you can plug into, like, the back. So, like, essentially, you can buy the dock for $12.99, buy a Anker, I think it's what it's called, connector, which allows you to do HDMI out, has a SD card reader, and has like 4 USB ports so that you can plug in mouse and keyboard or anything else you need, like a external hard drive. And you can do all of that for like, I think, $40 or something. So I was thinking of doing something like that, because it even comes with like a little Velcro strap, so that you can put the Velcro strap on the back of the little dock that was already made, that someone created, and put the Anker on the back of that, and then it's like you have like the official Steam dock basically. So that's been one of the options, but yeah. There's a lot of questions I've had, like some things stop working the way they did before. Like, for instance, my right thumbstick used to control my mouse when Steam wasn't booted, but I don't know how to make that work now, and I've been trying to rack my brain and figure out how to do that, because it's just not working, essentially, and I don't know what to do to make it work again. So, like I said, it goes back to the whole you gotta mess around with some things. But again, I already did mess around with some things, so I probably fucked that up in the first place. So there's that. So that's something to keep in mind. So a lot of the issues I'm talking about, you'll probably never ever have if you just use the thing the way it's supposed to be used in the first place.
That's fair.
But it's great, and I highly recommend it. Just in general, if you get selected, I would say buy one, because it's definitely worth picking up.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be more readily available sooner than later too. This list can't last forever. I can't remember. Do we know how long the list is?
Until October right now. I think if you get on it right now, it's October of this year.
Okay.
I can get it for myself for my birthday.
But here's the thing, Mike. It's not a case of these will ever be sold in stores. These won't ever be sold in stores.
I'm just saying when you get to the point where it will be like you can just order it and it ships immediately, as opposed to 6 months out or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
No, I know what you mean.
To be in stores.
Yeah. We'll probably get to that sooner rather than later, though. And yeah, I look forward to that, because I would like more people to be able to get this in their hands, so more people can tinker with it, and more people that are better than me will learn how to do things, and then I don't have to rack my brain on how to do a thing because someone else has already done it for me.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what I want.
So did you try anything else new with it, or just go through your old stuff?
Oh, I haven't played any new games with it, but I have played some like old games I hadn't played in a while with it. So like one of the really cool things about this, I would say, is the trackpad can actually be used as a mouse. So like first-person shooters feel really nice when you use like the little touchpads that are on the left and right, because essentially you are just aiming like with a Wiimote pointer or with a mouse, and that works incredibly well.
Mm-hmm.
So I've played, like I talked about Ion Fury before, which I hadn't played in a while. I reinstalled that and played that on the Steam Deck with those little pads, and they work great. And the same with Nightmare Reaper, which I played that. I reinstalled Jet Set Radio because I love Jet Set Radio, and I played some of that. And I played, Risk of Rain 2. I mean, a lot of the things that I have played are games that I already owned. And then the ones that I already own, but on other systems, I've also played. So there's that.
Okay.
But yeah, highly recommend this thing, just in general. It's been a ton of fun. And yeah, I played oh fuck. Okay, I forgot about this one because I did play it through Epic Games on there. I played Death's Door.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that game is incredible.
What is
it? It's isometric Legend of Zelda kind of game, but with like the Souls kind of aesthetic, where like when you kill enemies, they drop like a currency and you use that currency to upgrade your character. But it's very, very, very good. It's the kind of thing that like I don't know if it's on Switch, but if it's on Switch, I would be the perfect game to play on Switch.
What's it called again?
Death's Door.
Yeah. Oh, that's...
Yeah, I highly recommend checking that one out. Other than that, I haven't got anything much to talk about. Just It's a lot of fun. I've been having a lot of fun with it, and it runs really well.
That's good. I'm glad you bought it and it ended up being like exactly what you wanted it to be.
Oh yeah, it's actually quite better than I expected it to be honest. I've had to do, like I said, a lot more tinkering than I expected to, because like so many of these videos are like, you just press this button, do this button, then it's done. There you go, done. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But like then I look at it and it's like, yeah, it's not quite that easy. But everything that I wanted and more works the way I want it to. So yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, that's great.
Can't complain. I can play fucking Persona 5 on the go, so fuck it.
I will say it's strange to me. I mean, obviously we did this a lot when the Switch came out and everything that like is getting put on it. You're like, oh, I'm just gonna buy it because I can get it on the go. Like, it's crazy to me how low the bar is for me to buy another game. For like, will I buy it? Is there anything new? No.
Mm-hmm.
Can I take it anywhere? Yes. Fucking all of my money.
I know. But it's
then the Steam Deck is made for you, especially since like you're more computer literate as well, a lot like myself. And as such, I don't think you'd have that much of an issue with all the tinkering and stuff. I think you'd probably enjoy it as well.
Nick, what are you playing on your Steam Deck right now? 3D Space Pinball, baby.
That's actually on here. Yes, that's possible to be installed.
I mean, I feel like even for me too, like if I was looking for a device to play like PC games on, like that seems like a much better route to go.
Well, that's like too. What would be good for you with that, as well, Mike, is like if you plug it into like the dock or you plug it into like a monitor, like it could just be your dedicated like quote unquote PC gaming rig, and it's not. It's probably like I would say a third of the price of what you would be spending.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
To making like an actual PC. So like
absolutely
none of the frustration of having to figure out all that shit myself.
Exactly.
Which is that's also another convenience of it as well. Because that's one thing that I think that's a very frustrating part of PC gaming for me is just all the options. So just to have it just something that's set up just with that sole thing in mind and the portability factor, that's win-win for me. So.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would just tell you in general, Mike, to like if you were going to get one, to look at the things that are compatible before getting it, more or less. Be like, do I want to play these games? And pretty much any of the like really good indie titles are compatible. You got like your Death's Door, you've got Dead Souls. Is that what it's called? I think it is. Maybe. You got Slay the Spire, you've got Hades, you got Tunic, you've got Binding of Isaac. You've got like all of those really, really good indie titles on here already fully playable, no issue whatsoever, and they just work essentially. So, and with that, that's why I'd be like, hey, if you're not gonna fuck around with it, then you like indie games and you also like several AAA games, like Sika said, the entire Yakuza series is available on the Steam Deck. So.
Yeah, I mean that's incredible. Obviously, like the more people tinker around with it, the more we're gonna see put onto it. So before we started recording, I saw somebody playing Shadow the Hedgehog in a GameCube emulator. So,
yeah, that's what I'm trying to get running right now.
Disgusting.
Well, not Shadow the Hedgehog. I'm trying to get a GameCube and Wii emulator running.
That's slightly better.
Yeah. I'll have to send you a picture, because like you're probably thinking when I say like emulator stuff, Nick, that it's like you have to go into desktop mode, you have to go here and do this. I've actually injected the game straight into my Steam library, so it actually shows like the artwork for each individual game that I have set up on the emulators, and I can literally just go there and like, there it is. There's the picture. There it is. I don't have to deal with anything else. It's just done all entirely for me, and it's really nice. I actually have a video that I'll show you guys in a bit.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'll post it in the main chat so you guys can see under general. See if that actually works. Okay, yeah, there you go.
Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you put Persona 3 FES on the PlayStation, like for the PlayStation 2?
Yeah.
And then also download Persona 3 Portable, just, because.
Well, I have portable already on there. If you look at the video.
There you go. You have the portable version of the portable version, and you have the portable version of the non-portable version.
I could do you one better. I could install the Vita emulator. I could install Persona 4 Golden. I could install Persona 4 Golden through Steam, and I could install Persona 4 Golden through PS2.
Oh my god.
And then I'll just be really confused as to which one to click. It'll be great. Absolutely fantastic. I have made a discovery of one of probably the worst things about the Steam deck, which has actually been a discovery I've made during this podcast right now. And that's when the Steam servers go offline, which they just went offline at the start of this podcast because it's maintenance day, so everything's being worked on. It's making things 10 times harder to get running because of the fact that it's Steam. Steam has to be running to use it. I mean, granted, I can use it in offline mode, but it makes updating things a little bit more difficult. So this is kind of interesting to me that I'm seeing this now, because I didn't know about that before. So that's very weird to me. Okay. Yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say right now. I'm done.
Okay. Well, I guess for me, speaking of GameCube games, I played Star Fox Adventures.
Okay.
Actually, I played all the Star Fox games since last time we spoke.
All right.
So we'll start with Adventures. So, because we were talking about it last week, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I should go back to it. It's been a long time. I don't even know the last time I played it. It's been a few years.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have to say, this is nostalgia goggles the game. I kind of wish you had your GameCube emulator so you could try this, just to see.
I mean, I'm working on it. I should have it up and running by tomorrow. It's just, I'm big dumb fucking donkey brain, so I'm having to figure out everything as I go along, and it's not as easy as you would think.
Yeah, no, but we were talking about it last week, and so I guess my memory of this game, I still do remember a lot. The issues with this game are not anything that's surprising to me, I guess. I knew it was a fetch quest game, and I knew there was issues with some of the pacing and stuff with it. But it just hit me like a bag of bricks this time when I played it. Because I feel how do I put this? At the time, a lot of games were fetch questy. This is how I would put it. That was just this was an early GameCube game. You were coming off. This is still fairly new to the world of 3D adventure games.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that fetch questy stuff was just kind of the normal there. It has not quite evolved to that point, past that point yet. So some of it was normal there, and so when I was playing at the time, I think at least there's just the expectation oh, it's just more than I'm used to. And now that we are living in 2022. 20 years after this game came out, just the amount of fetch questiness that's there was just a lot more than I was expecting. I guess going back to it, because the game just starts right off the bat. It's oh, I need this, and you go and get the every action in the game is a fucking fetch quest. Oh, you want to go in this temple, or you want to go down this path or whatever. Oh, I need 30 scarabs. Fuck you. Just let me through this fucking hallway. Why do I have to go and why do I have to get everything? You want to fly somewhere on your ship? Go get some fuel cells. You want to go and explore this cable? You need fireflies. That's your fuel for your lantern. Oh, you want... So it's just, it's hunt. And yeah, so that was a lot to get through. A lot more than I expected. I still like it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just yeah, that was just kind of a mental break for me with this game. My reality versus expectation kind of thing. And then even some of the other thing that this game did that you don't see as much anymore for adventure games of now is this was also the era where they just threw in mini games for no fucking reason. Oh, you want to get this Krazoa spirit? Well, play this fucking mini game. And if you don't win, you just start this whole temple all the way over again. It's not they're very long. They're 4 rooms generally, and not all the time do the puzzles reset, but sometimes they do, and yeah, it's just annoying. And then it's just you go through areas and you backtrack right back again, and yeah, it was I was not ready for this experience, at this time when I played this game. Yeah.
So were you expecting something like different? Like what exactly are we looking for here?
Like I said, in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
it's closer to like Ocarina of Time, not in terms of like its score or like its regard,
Okay.
but just kind of like in terms of like
The way it played.
yeah, the way it plays and like how much you're actually doing, like actions versus like fetch quests and things. Yeah, it felt like a much bigger adventure when it's just like a very kind of like flat adventure kind of
Okay.
thing. Does that make sense?
No, I get it. I get what you're
Yeah.
trying to say.
Yeah.
At least somewhat.
Yeah, like even the combat's very flat. Like I was like, oh yeah, the combat's not too bad. It's literally just mash the A button. It's like there's no like rhyme or reason
It
to
makes
it.
me wonder, like, because I haven't played them in a while, obviously.
Yeah.
Mm. It makes me
Was it?
wonder if like Dinosaur Planet feels better to play than this does.
I think so. I mean, well, I mean, I don't
I
know
mean,
for
you haven't
sure.
played it, so
I mean,
like,
but I think what I was going to try and like follow that up with was that like I would think so because this game,
mhm.
even with all its shortcomings, like some of the stuff that annoys me, I'm sure it was still probably proposed for Dinosaur Planet. Like I don't think some of the stuff that annoys me was like I don't think the combat would have been significantly better in Dinosaur Planet. Like
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like the person was already using staff. Like I doubt they changed the
Mhm.
combat for that. But there are some shortcomings. Like I don't know. You played this game before, Brandon, right?
Yes, I played it
Did you
way
beat
back
it?
when. I literally don't remember. I was a kid.
Okay. Nick, did you play this game?
No, I did
Okay.
not.
Yeah, spoilers are coming. But like the game ends, so you get to the final, like the big boss for the whole game is General Scales. He's this big old like kind of T-Rex Velociraptor thing, maybe I don't know. He's somewhere in between. And so he's been like this asshole this whole time, like fucking up all these dinosaurs, being a nasty asshole to everyone
Okay.
that comes around him. And then you get to him at the end, and then they're like, "Oh, just kidding, you don't fight him." That like that's it. Like it's just like you get put into an arena with him. You
The
have your
game just
staff.
stops.
You take one swing at him, and it goes to a cutscene where Andros is like, "Stop playing, General Scales. Just give him the last Krazoa spirit." Like there's no fight, and then it's Andros. It's like what the fuck? You didn't have time.
That feels like they were trying to shoehorn as fast as possible Star Fox into this non-Star Fox game.
Well, they still could have had you fight Scales, you know.
Yeah.
And then, like, they could have had you fight Scales. Scales dies. You put the last Krazoa spirit out, and then fucking Andros rolls around and is like, "Hey, yeah, you know, this is a plotted device to be resurrected," because that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just like they're like, "Oh shit, we don't have enough time to finish this." So, because this other thing with this game too, if you remember, like the sale for Microsoft,
Mm-hmm.
like I think it was already
Oh, it was like,
known
yeah.
during the development, and it was finalized like as soon as this game released. Like they were just waiting for it to get out the fucking door. So like it kind of has like the we were rushed kind of motif to it as well. So, like, and I think some of the things that are frustrating with this game too, like some of the mini games that even I had like just going into it remembered like, oh, I'm like shit, I hate this part of this game because it fucking sucks. Like it's probably just because they didn't rebalance it, just because they're like, we don't have time for this shit, just get it out the fucking door. So
They're just like, we don't give a fuck. It's not ours anymore, and don't worry about it anymore. Fuck it.
It's not ours. Nintendo shoehorned Star Fox into it. So just be gone. God bless. Like, go on your merry way. So yeah. So I don't know. That's kind of my like quick takeaways with from it. I mean, there are some things that I do like about it. Like I do think that it fleshed out like Star Fox's like cast pretty nicely. Like you get more interactions with Fox and Falco and Slippy and Peppy, and then they added Crystal, who does become a part of the Star Fox team. So you get those kind of things. I think it does give a framework for like expanding the Star Fox universe in terms of like, hey, you know, Star Fox could work with an adventure style game. Like the game was actually reviewed pretty well back in the time. Like it's not like it would be that horrible. And if you change some things, like I think you have a good idea of what you could do, like a framework with a Star Fox where it does have some exploration elements and some deeper story elements. I think those would be nice. So those things are things that I think would work well. But like I said, this game, it does have some shortcomings if you go back to it. It did make me realize too, though, that because I looked at this the other day and I was like, what? Because I still have my GameCube hooked up. Like I've never unhooked it, and I was like, well, what first party games would I still play on this system specifically? And there's not that many. Like I looked at Nintendo's published list, it's not a lot. Like they're because the big stuff is not there anymore. Like you don't need the GameCube to play it. Like Mario Sunshine, I'll play it on my Switch. Metroid Prime, I'll play it on the Wii or the Wii U because they have those better copies there. The Pikmin games, those are on the Wii or Wii U as well. And then so it's just kind of like what games are still there that I play? Well, the two Star Fox games, like F-Zero, Eternal Darkness, Twin Snakes, and I think the Fire Emblem game. I mean, those are just and Paper Mario. That was in your drawer. I think those are all of the big ones. Because all the other big stuff is just they already moved it. And the third party stuff, I'd say more or less is somewhat available on other systems or on other Nintendo systems. Like Resident Evil, like I can get those on pretty much anything. I think I actually do own a bunch of them on other systems as it is. Like I think if I want to play Resident Evil like remake, I think I rebought it on PlayStation, or I can rebuy it on the Switch for like $10. You know, Killer 7, I could play that on the PC.
Oh, yes, you could.
Yeah,
you could play that on the Steam Deck.
Yeah, there you go. But I mean, like really, like there's not a lot of other things that are just locked on the GameCube. Oh, the Zelda games. I don't even think I mentioned those. Those are obviously like they have the Wii U updates too, which we might see on the Switch. I don't know. I don't know if you have any thoughts on the GameCube stuff. Is there any other GameCube stuff that you can think of that's locked there that you really would want to play?
Custom Robo.
Oh, Custom Robo was okay. It's not a game I'd go out of my way to play, but I mean, I can see why people would.
So I only played it once. That's the reason why I'm interested in actually like playing it again. The Pokemon games, the Pokemon RPGs.
Oh yeah, well the Coliseum kind of bunk, but XD was good.
That's the one I was trying to think of. Yeah.
XD. You play Sonic Adventure 2 on it.
Fuck you. But I think that's on something else though too. Didn't they re-release it or no?
It's on PC.
It's on PC.
Okay. Yeah. So see, you got that. But I was looking at Nintendo's list of like first-party games, and I feel like just I have nostalgia goggles for those too.
Possible.
Like it really like. Otherwise, what else is there that we haven't mentioned? The 3 Mario parties, which I could care less about. I mean, they're fun.
I want to play Chibi Robo. Let's say that.
Chibi Robo is good. They actually did do a Wii port of that one, but I don't think it came out in the U.S.
Okay.
Yeah, but Chibi Robo is great. I do like that game. And I don't know. I just wish they would just bite the bullet and put out like a GameCube emulator and get it over with. I mean, it's been 20 years at this point. They could obviously make the games run on the Switch, or just port the rest over and sell them at a premium, whatever they want to do. It's just there's not much there. Otherwise, so that was my mini GameCube rant. Also, actually, the other thing too I wanted to rant about I don't know when the last time y'all used a Wavebird controller was, but in this day and age, they suck.
Wait, why?
So I had this issue a little bit last year, and I didn't realize it as much when I was playing. Like I kind of noticed it, but I really didn't think anything about it. But it really was it was god awful this time when I played it. The Wavebirds now are so susceptible to interference. It's disgusting.
Oh, okay.
So I was playing. So I'll tell you, I was playing like Star Fox Adventures originally. Like when I started, I was using the Wavebird. I didn't switch out of it. Like it wasn't that bad, but just kind of as more as I got aware of it, like it just got a little bit easier. And I'm playing it would like stutter like every couple seconds. Like it just
that's weird.
You go to run and then you stop, and you go to run and then you stop, but then you go to run and you stop, and it's like it's kind of like a little distracting. It was kind of frustrating when you're like running with like an exploding item, because as soon as it would happen, it would throw it, and I was like, okay.
I'm wondering if that's a hardware issue on your side, because some of my friends still use the Wavebird and they're it's fine.
No, I couldn't explain what the issue is, because I looked into it and I figured a lot of it out. So the issue is it actually like when the Wavebird came out, like there was not as much Wi-Fi interference as there is today. So apparently, like the Wavebirds are pretty susceptible to Wi-Fi interference. So the example that I will give to you is I was at one point during my like Star Fox sessions, um, I had decided to download something on my 3DS, and I had it sitting right next to me. So if you remember, like the 3DS, you can put into like kind of that I don't know weird sleep mode thing where it's just kind of like on suspend and it'll just download things in the background or whatever. That interference sitting next to me when I was using my Wavebird was enough to make it unplayable.
Wow.
Like it literally was non-functional.
Okay, that's
And
weird.
as soon as I finished up the download, turned it off, went back to the game, it was fine.
I suppose that makes sense, because
yeah,
like you said, when the Wavebird first came out, I mean, I don't think I don't even think 1/10 of what I owned even was connected to Wi-Fi.
Yeah, and now too, where my GameCube's sitting, I have what like 5 consoles with Wi-Fi. And then I have like what 3 bases in the house generating Wi-Fi. Fucking my like thermostat is Wi-Fi, like
Yeah,
everything. So just by like just that little interference was just enough to do it. I ended up having less issues when I had to cycle through. Do you remember the Wavebird has like 12 different channels you can go through or something?
yes.
I cycled through to a different channel, like on a complete different end of the spectrum from the one I was using, and tried to distance the controller from as much Wi-Fi stuff as I could, and then it worked much more functional. It was almost night and day, but I was surprised how easily like the interference was. Like I said, the 3DS just sitting next to me was enough to make it just not work. It was weird. But yeah, so yeah, that was surprising. So if you still have your and I guess too, there is the older model of the Wavebird because they did do like 2 different ones. I think that one's more susceptible than the newer one.
I believe mine, if I can find it, is the older one because I specifically remember I didn't even ask for a Wavebird. I asked for Mario Party 4 for Christmas one year,
Similar.
and there was a Kmart bundle that, and I still have the Mario Party case. I don't know if there's like a special edition or whatever. It was like a Kmart bundle that came with a Wavebird.
Pretty nice deal.
And that's how I got my first Wavebird.
Yeah, and the GameCube controller and the Wavebird specifically are great controllers. I like them. Like I think they're fantastic.
Yeah.
I remember too, like even back in the day, like I was able to use my Wavebird like from the literal other side of my house. Like the connectivity was that good. I was just so surprised. Like I never really thought about like just something made 20 years ago, just how susceptible it would be to interference of like all the shit we have today. Yeah,
it's really weird that. No, I'm just like thinking about it like real quick. Like it's kind of weird that my Mario Party 4 came with a Wavebird.
That is kind of weird.
A special bundle. Yeah,
I'll post a picture of it for. I don't know, Brandon, if you remember this bundle.
The
I don't know if you had a Kmart near you.
Also, my GameCube's like
absolutely,
and it's like weird, like sad, like state now. Like when I boot it up, it's like I don't know what day it is anymore. Please tell me, or I will not play.
At least yours is plugged in.
What?
I said, at least yours is plugged in. Mine's in a box right now.
Well, I guess if the power's off on the GameCube, I guess power doesn't go to anything, including like the clock. So
yes.
It's got no fucking clue what's going on.
Yeah.
But otherwise, Star Fox wise, I played Assault. Assault's still great. I like Assault a lot. Because that is still like kind of more, I don't know, more traditional, I guess, Star Fox stuff. They did have like the on foot stuff. I know some people didn't like that, but I always enjoyed the third person shooting in it, and I thought the story was great. Command I played. I didn't realize people got so butthurt over it. I always enjoyed it.
Wait, why do they get butthurt over it?
Well, there's two different reasons why people don't like Command, from what I was able to discern. So, one, some people don't like how simplistic it is in terms of its controls. Or, well, not really controls. It controls really well. You use the stylus to do a lot of the stuff on the DS. But it's just kind of more like the scenarios you go into. Like you go into a screen, it's just like shoot down like 4 things or whatever. And that's there's no on rails sections. There's no like big kind of like events. There's some boss battles, but the stages don't really amount more to like it's a few minutes in a stage, you blow some stuff up, then it's like you go into the next player's thing, and it's kind of like just very repetitive. I can see that. I thought it was fine. I kind of like the strategy, like flying aspect to it, because it does have that like for people who've never played it, when you go into like a level in the game, you have like a map on the screen, and there's some like fog and you have to find like the enemies and the missiles and the bases, and you send out each of your squadron to go to those areas. And as you pass over things, you fight a couple enemies, take out its cores, and then destroy the enemies or take over the base.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying to protect the gray fox from getting attacked. So it's got that strategy element to it, and it's kind of nice because you play as different people, and each vehicle, each person is a different vehicle with different like attributes. Like Slippy has a ship with more like health energy, more shield energy, and like a stronger weapon, but no lock on.
Okay.
Whereas like Fox is just kind of like your more traditional R wing. Then maybe you'll get like Leon from like the Star Wolf team. He just has like a constant lock on like shooting, and he just shoots off like all these locked on lasers as soon as he gets something. So they're very varied, which is a lot of fun. But like I said, in terms of gameplay, a lot of people just kind of turned off by just how like repetitive like the different sequences are. Like they don't have any of the big like Star Fox set pieces. The other side of it though is the people who hate the story. As far as I can tell, because the story starts up with like Fox and Crystal broke up, and then you kind of start the story there. Fox is alone. He's got to get the Star Fox team back together to save the universe from the Anglers who are trying to take over like the Lylat system.
Okay.
Story's fine, but a lot of people kind of get upset about the fact that, like I said, that Fox and Crystal are broke up because I think it just ruins their weird fantasies.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, they're just very upset.
That
and when
checks out.
Yeah, and when they run into each other, she's kind of like confrontational. Which, I mean, honestly, if you got through a nasty breakup with someone, and it sounds like the game makes it sound like it is Fox's fault, she's not particularly happy to see him. She's just kind of like, you're a jerk, and I really don't want to spend time with you. And so, but the neat thing about the game is depending on which choices you make, because it is kind of like a weird kind of like melodrama soapbox kind of thing. It can go in some pretty wild directions. So some of the endings, like Fox and Crystal end up getting back together and like have a kid, and then their kid makes a new Star Fox team somewhere down the line.
That one goes and races for F-Zero, right? Is that the one?
Yeah, there's one where Fox and Falco just leave the universe and race for F-Zero.
Yep.
There's one where what is it? There's another wild one that gets people all bent out of shape. There's one where like Falco like just goes off on his own and makes his own team and is just like fuck everyone. So it goes some pretty like interesting places, which I think is fine. Like it's just it is kind of what it is. Then that's just what they put out there. I think they took some creative liberties with the story. It's nice that it's not a fucking rehash of the first game again. And yeah, that's that. And then I did play Star Fox Zero, speaking of rehashes, because Brandon told me not to. So I did.
Yeah, well,
Interestingly, I mean, I don't know. Star Fox Zero, I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. The controls suck. We know this. But I didn't realize this at the time when we were talking about it. But apparently, like, people from Platinum have been kind of, like, tweeting out recently, like, last month, that they're like, we want to port Star Fox to the Switch. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what they do. I think it would be interesting if they made some tweaks to the game to see what it's like without the two-screen. I don't really think you need it that much. Like, I don't really... it doesn't add that much to the game. And I really don't think you have to switch that much. I mean, most of the time when I played it, I just used the TV screen for aiming. There's only a couple segments where you need to use the gamepad to play through it. So, I don't know. It is what it is. It'd be interesting to see them do a take on it. Or better yet, just make a brand new Star Fox game. Yeah. Just let Platinum just have free reign and don't shove some shitty controls down their throat. And I think, too, if they were going to do like a Star Fox for the Switch, if they really wanted to, and do something that people would like just kind of do like an amalgamation of just do like Star Fox Zero and Star Fox 64 like together, like a HD version of both. If you really want to be fancy, make it so you can branch off into each of the different levels between the two of them. That would kind of be fun. Mix them together, or just keep them separate and just here's both of them on Switch. Star Fox 64 3D is a pretty awesome upgrade, I think, from the original. Looks really nice, plays really well. So there's that. And then I played a little bit of Star Fox Guard, which was fun. I don't know. Did you guys ever play Guard? I don't remember.
No.
No.
No, I didn't.
That's the one where it's just kind of like that tower defense kind of game,
Mm-hmm.
and you have all the robots trying to come in and like steal your minerals, but then you blow them up and then you sell that, you like scrap them. I don't know. But you set up cameras and then the TV screen has all the different like security camera footage, and then the Wii Pad kind of has all the different um, things you can blow up on there. I don't know. It's pretty nice. That game's pretty nice. I would like. I don't know how they could do it. It'd be interesting to see if they tried to rebuild something like that for the Switch too, or port it. But I think that one might be just forever on the Wii U. So, but it's a lot of fun. I do like it. I think they did some interesting things with it. I was fucking around with that today, and yeah, that's it. I think that's all I played the last week. I'll save the other things for next week. Just Star Fox. Star Fox is great. I love it. I want a new Star Fox. That's all I got. Yeah.
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 Nick, do you have anything?
No, I have a quick thing. I just found out my friend messaged us in our group chat about Multiverses beta or alpha codes, and I got one.
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah.
Multiverses is a WB flavored platform fighter. And that starts on the 19th, so I'll be able to talk about that next week. But no, I didn't really play anything this week.
Okay.
So.
You ready to move on to news?
Yeah.
Tell us the news then.
I just wrote down the news then. I'm going to start with the other one first. See, does it make sense? So we got our first partial list of the PlayStation Plus revamped games catalog.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys remember, like, what was it, a month or so ago, there's like the whole new PS Plus thing that kind of just merges PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now into one service with multiple tiers. So that change is coming next month, and they've released, like I said, a partial list of the first, I guess, round of games. I don't know. That's coming to the service, and it looks. It's a list. It's probably about what, like 50 or so games. Probably like 50. I'm like just quickly scrolling my eyes over it. Maybe less than 50. There's some good ones in here though. There's some games that I'm glad I didn't buy, like the Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. Glad I didn't buy that upgrade because that's coming with the thing.
Yeah, I bought
it. Death Stranding's Director's Cut is coming to.
I bought it.
Yep. Both Marvel Spider-Man games, remastered both Patapon games, Uncharted 1 to 4 plus Lost Legacy, all of Last of Us, Medieval. So those are the PS4 and 5 games coming from. That's like some of them that I listed off. There's other ones too, like Everybody's Golf, Destruction All Stars, which was free to begin with, Concrete Genie, Bloodborne, whatever. There's a full list on their blog. There's also some third-party games coming. Final Fantasy 15, which was already on the PS Plus Collections thing, but now it's being upgraded to the Royal Edition.
Nope, that was on PS Plus Collections as well. They upgraded that already.
The Royal Edition? Oh, okay. The new Guardians of the Galaxy game, which I think was already on Game Pass to begin with, so I was going to play it on there.
It was on Game Pass.
Yeah. What else we got here worth noting? Control Ultimate Edition is going to be there.
Which was already given away for free on PS Plus.
Yes, so there's a lot of free PS Plus games on this list already.
You'll notice one thing in common, and that's that this is kind of a ripoff.
I'm not really sure how so, but I'm gonna continue on.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that.
Yeah, and then there's a small classics games catalog that has been announced so far. So, for first party for like PS1, you got Ape Escape, Hot Shots Golf, Siphon Filter. Shit like that. For PS2, you got Dark Cloud 1 and 2, which I love Dark Cloud. I think it's a great game. You have Jack 1, 2, and 3 and X Combat Racing, as well as I was reading it wrong. I thought they're saying Daxter. They don't call Jack 1 Jak and Daxter. They just call it Jak and Daxter, the precursor Legacy. Didn't realize that. Let's see, BioShock Remastered, which I think was also free at some point. Borderlands: The Handsome Collection. We got the PS3 games that are streaming. So Ratchet and Clank's on there, Infamous. Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2, but not the first one. Strangely enough. Lost Planet 2, but not Lost Planet 1. And then there's also some limited time game trials. Two from the first-party studios are Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection, as well as Horizon Forbidden West, and then from third-party partners, Cyberpunk, Farming Simulator 2022, Tiny Tina's Wonderland, and WWE 2K22. None of those third-party games, except for maybe Cyberpunk, will actually work. And Farming Simulator.
That's not true. WWE 2022 is really fucking good, and it works. Just not on PC.
I mean, like, looking at this list, there's a lot of games that came out for free via PS Plus if you've had it for long enough. But, like, you might have some people who haven't had it as long as us.
That's true.
So, I mean...
So, would you like me to let you know the reason why?
Yeah, why is it a ripoff?
So, every one of the like, PS4 titles, as well as the PS3 titles, have already been on PlayStation Now. And they're just bringing them over to PS Now. And they're just giving us a less of a way to actually interact with it. So, like, obviously the PS3 is streaming. That was already streaming on PS Now. A lot of these games that are like, oh yeah, you just pay us extra and you get this game also, were games that you could already download on PS Now for a lesser amount than that, like, combined with PlayStation Plus than the price of what you have to pay now to get these.
Yeah.
So, like, that's the reason where I was saying, like, because it's kind of just a ripoff. Because what they're doing is they're literally taking two services, smashing them together, and making them cost more than buying the two services separately originally did. And the games that they're touting as, like, the games that, oh, these are the games that are going to be here day one, or at least some of them, are all of the games that were already available right now on PS Now if you were to go and sign up for it, and you would be paying less if you were to sign up for that and PlayStation Plus at the same time. And then pretty much all of the PS4 games that they're like, here are the PS4 games, are for, like, people that missed them when they were free on PS Plus, because almost every single one of these have been either in the collection already, or have been on PS Plus, or were already on PS Now as full game downloads. So that's why I was saying it's a bit of a ripoff, because if you, like, actually take the price of PS Now currently and PlayStation Plus, and you were to put those two together, and then stack that up by these ones that are here, you would have the exact same amount of games, at least from what we're being shown so far, the exact same type of games, but you'll just be paying more for it in the future. And that's why I was like, yeah, it's just kind of a ripoff.
So, I mean, we'll see how that kind of unfolds, because, like they said, it is a partial list.
Yes, yeah, it is a partial list. Like, but I can't see them being like, yeah, these are the games that we're going to show for the partial list, and they, like, left off their big, huge hitters that are, like, new titles. Like, why would you do that? That just seems really dumb. Like, if you want to sell the actual content to people, you're not going to be like, here's a partial list. Let me leave off some of the best games that would make you actually want to subscribe to this.
It's not coming out till next month, and we're only halfway through May.
I know, so, but looking at it from, like, a price standpoint,
they might be...
This is actually legitimately a ripoff.
Okay, so, like I said, they might be waiting until the end of this month, beginning of next month, to announce their more hype shit, if there's more hype shit, to drum up business, because what you're going to have is you're going to announce more exciting stuff when you're about to launch your service, or are launching the service, and then people will have it fresh in their minds, and they'll buy it. I'll agree with you if they add literally nothing else, but until that time, I feel like it's more presumptuous than anything that, like, this is it. And
no, I'm not saying this is it. I'm just saying pretty much every title here right now you can get for cheaper.
Yeah, and actually, I disagree with you on this one, Nick. Like, I think that, you know, you're literally 2 weeks out from the service launching. Like, if for them to put out this list, I don't think they would sit on anything bigger. Like, this is their big unveiling of the games that are coming out. I'm sure there are other things, but I think these were their heavy hitters.
I think so too. Like, yeah, sure. Demon Souls, that's awesome. Like, that's being put on the PS5 title, Demon Souls. It's a great game. Good job for them allowing things like that. But then looking at all the rest of these, it's like they're kind of. It just feels like they're like, yeah, here's a few more PS Plus titles.
Yeah, I saw one video.
We don't know how their rotation is going to be. We don't know if they're going to, like, continuously update this list. We don't know if they're going to pull a Nintendo where they release, like, 6 games every 4 months, you know?
I mean, I imagine they are going to keep adding to it. or rotating
Mhm.
it, kind of a la Xbox Game Pass.
Mhm.
But again, like that's fine that you guys disagree, and that's all good and all. But I truly believe that if you're gonna say this is a partial list, like there's got to be like another list that is maybe not as long, but at least as in terms of titles impressive, not in terms of pricing or anything else like that, but like in terms of just the content of what else they're adding to it.
I
So
think the
like,
list they aren't showing are those indie titles that no one cares about, like the ones that are like very clearly like just thrown up there on the thing, or like older titles that are like everyone has this already, so there's no reason to show this. That's what I really think the
uh-huh,
other half of this list is, and that's the reason why they're not showing them, because they're like, oh yeah, people might not have this, so
uh-huh.
we'll show these.
I mean, that like I said, that's possible. I don't know. I don't know if it's just me
That's
just
my
like
theory. That's all.
having cope, but like
I think you got a lot of copium going on right now, my friend.
I don't think it's copium. I just think it's more of like just it just wouldn't make sense for them to not have more. I think it would be legit bad business and stupid if they like had like another addition to this list that wasn't like good. So it's not like, oh no, guys, I swear it's gonna be good. 'Cause I haven't even bought into it yet. But
Yeah.
I feel like just thinking about it logically, like there's gotta
How much
be.
logical stuff has Sony done lately? That's my question.
I mean, I'm removing Sony from the equation and just letting my neurons fire off and like, hey, if a company is doing something and they say XYZ, then like I would assume there would have to be something more, at least of worth when you
Mhm.
say, hey, this is a partial list and not a entire list of what's launching on the service.
And that's exactly why I don't think there's a second list.
I don't think there is either.
Because they're gonna maybe that's I feel like that's just like PR, like just just how they do it. Like they're like, hey,
Yeah,
look at all these great games that are coming to the service, and people are gonna be like, oh yeah, the rest of the games must be excellent too. But I mean, you
yeah,
look at that list; it's pretty much everything first party's on there. So
Hmm.
it's not like they're really sitting on anything of their own, and
Yeah.
you know that they're not gonna have a substantial amount of third party stuff just because those are the
Yep.
things you have to pay for. So you look at that list, you're like, this is pretty good. I can't wait to see what the rest of the stuff is there. And like the
There
stuff
is
that
no
you're going to
rest
be
of the
most
stuff.
interested in is going to be the stuff that's there. And I saw a video yesterday too where they were talking
uh-huh.
about the list. And the one guy was looking at, I think it was the PS3 games. And he did, when he got to that part, he just kind of laughed. He's like, these are the exact same games that have been on
On
PlayStation
Yeah.
now since it launched.
Yep.
Like there's nothing new here.
Okay.
So I I don't know. I mean, I agree with you, Nick. I would like to hope that it's going to be better, but I
Yeah,
know
me
it was
too.
a skeptical one when this service was announced too, because you guys were both getting really hyped, and I'm like, "Well, show me the receipts." I'm like, "I want to see," because they were saying what
Now
500 games or something, and I just even the first parties, like the not first party, the PlayStation One stuff that's there,
It's
it's
awful.
disappointing.
my
Like
question.
Escape's great. And so is Hot Shots Golf. I love Hot Shots Golf. But then like the rest are basically just launch titles from the
Well, I just have
PlayStation.
a question about what you said about it being cheaper, right? So
Mhm.
is just purely having PlayStation Now in these games cheaper, or are you combining the prices of both having PlayStation Now and PS Plus?
PS Plus and PlayStation Now combined together would give you these games for a cheaper price than what they're trying to bundle them together for due to the tier system that they have.
I gotcha.
Like their tier system essentially made it so it's like what you're paying for on the highest tier is to get those PlayStation 3 games, right? Is that correct? PlayStation 3 is highest tier, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's the legacy stuff,
Okay,
like
so
3 and
so
older. I
get those
think.
PlayStation 3 games and the demos essentially, like the trials, the limited time trials. To get those, you'd have to go to the highest tier. And to go to the highest tier would make paying for that as opposed to just paying, monthly or yearly for PS Now plus PlayStation Plus, it would be more expensive to do so. And all
Okay.
you're getting in return are some trials of other games.
Okay. I just
Yeah, but
wasn't
we'll
sure
see.
if that was accounted for.
There's a few things here that I will actually point out that I think are quite interesting that no one went over. So if you look for select original PlayStation and PSP Classic games, members will also enjoy a new interface with menus that allow you to save your game at any time, blah, 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 rewind feature. So that's added into those classic games, which is pretty cool. And then another thing, players who have previously purchased the digital version of select games from the original PlayStation and PSP generation will not have to make a separate purchase or sign up for PlayStation Plus to play these titles on PS4 or PS5. That's the one good thing about this entire announcement that I think is awesome. If I can potentially play my PSP games that I already own on my account on my PlayStation 5, that's pretty sick. If I can potentially play my PlayStation 1 games that I already own on my account on my PlayStation 5, that's pretty fucking sick. And I dig that. So that's just kind of like sneakily snuck in here. And then one of the other major points that I think we didn't even go over is if you look, there's a thing here that says something about like through Ubisoft. It says through Ubisoft service. So it looks like Ubisoft, much like how EA is bundling their service of like subscription-based service into Game Pass. It looks like Ubisoft is bundling into PlayStation Extra or whatever the fuck we're calling this.
Yeah.
Those are the two things that, like, I guess three things technically, but those are the few things that I think stand out about this announcement more so than anything else. And it's so weird to me that they wouldn't mention, except in like one little sentence blurb, that hey, you're going to be able to play some of your original PlayStation 1 and PSP games on PS4 and PS5. That's pretty fucking hype. That's cool. I want to know which ones you can play, but that's really cool, you know?
Yeah.
So that's something that probably should have been talked about, like, more so. Like, and again, something like that being overlooked or not talking about the Ubisoft thing really makes me feel like this entire service is just being rushed out the door and they're not really putting any thought to it. Because like things like that, you would talk to people about those announcements, not just be like, if you read the fucking fine print, essentially you'll figure out that this stuff exists. Like, I don't get it. I'm so confused by what they're doing here. And I really feel like they're not ready to launch this service, but they're like, we got to do something.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is them just getting their foot in the door to get something that they compete with Xbox, Ultimate. I don't think anyone could expect this service to be comparable right out the gate. Like, I think that's an unrealistic expectation. Like, they have to start somewhere. I think this is a reasonable place to start, but it's not competitive to the other service at this moment. Will it get there? It depends on how much work Sony wants to put into it. So time will tell. And I think with what they are showing right now, and plus the fact that they're not going to have like Microsoft does have like the first party stuff available day and date, I think it's going to be a tough sell down the line, but we'll see. And actually, Brandon, the other thing too, there is a rumor that's just been going around apparently that says that Microsoft is going to be adding Ubisoft to their Ultimate as like an E3 announcement. Okay. We'll see.
They both just add it the same day.
I mean, if one's doing it, it wouldn't surprise me if the other one gets it too. I mean, it's great for Ubisoft, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Ubisoft's in a weird place right now, so I don't know. It's just very odd. But yeah, I mean, like I said, this is day one basically of the service, and you just can't expect too much of it. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe Nick's right. Maybe like the service launches and they're like, yeah, y'all, you get all the Square Enix games that have ever existed.
Yeah, maybe.
Because that would be a pretty
That'd be sick. That would be sick. And you know what? You know what would make this service worth it? If they partnered with Square Enix, because Square Enix is actually selling themselves to Sony, and this service gives you Square Enix games day one. That would be fucking sick. And that would probably make this service worth it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But, like, we gotta see what happens, because right now, it's, at least in my opinion, if you look at it as a whole, I don't think this is a better service than what we already have. And depending on how many games they took away from the PlayStation Now thing, and they'll be giving back to us in this format, it may be a worse service for more money. We haven't seen the final thing yet,
Yes.
But depending on, one, how it runs with like the streaming aspect of things, which I don't expect that to be good at all, and two, in general, just how things are, like how many things there are, that's what's going to decide if the service is worth it or not. So there.
Yeah.
All right, that's really all I got to say.
All right. What's this gamer dictionary?
So Sony released a gamer dictionary.
Do I want to know?
So what it is it's PlayStation ultimate list of popular game related terms.
Oh.
And I scrolled through it to see if there was maybe like anything wrong or like anything that I was like, huh, I didn't know what that was. But typically, just going down here, all is very
boomer all over it.
Yes, it's very much so like you give this to your boomer parents to understand what you mean when you're talking about. Although like their spelling for some things kind of threw me off. Like in the R section, they have RES for res. That's what they call. That's what they say. Short for resurrection. I'm like, no, it's not.
No. What?
Nobody says RES. It's like
res.
Yeah, like Z, no S.
Yeah, there's no
at
S.
the
What
very
the fuck?
bottom here in the W's, they spell rect like the correct way. And it says
Wait,
often stylized as rect, R-E-K-T, or rect, R-E-C-K-E-D. To be wrecked or to wreck another is best or be bested easily, typically in a one-on-one encounter. Get wrecked is a common victory put down when overcoming a difficult or tenacious enemy. So
at least they spell it right in like the other part, like the quote in like the definition part.
Well, yeah. T-pose is in here. SSD, an acronym for solid state drive.
Yes.
Sus isn't on here.
You suppose what isn't on here?
Sus. That's
sus.
Sus? No, none of it's on. That's not on there. OHK for one hit kill, which I don't. I mean,
no.
No. OP for overpowered. Noob tube. No one has said noob tube since like.
I don't think anyone said that for a while.
Since like Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, like a long time ago.
Nades. Nobody says nades.
Not true.
No.
That nades is said often in games such as CS or Valorant. Like, I forgot to buy nades because like some characters have nades as an ability in Valorant, and nades are things you can buy in CS:GO because you need them like flashbangs, grenades, incendiary grenades, smoke grenades. So nades are said quite often in both those games, and they are both very, very popular. So.
I'm surprised. The only
but PlayStation wise, I don't think can't think of a PlayStation game with nades in it.
The only word here or phrase that's spelled incorrectly, but like supposed to be spelled that way, is get good. So like GITGUD. It says a deliberate misspelling of get good. Get good is an induction to raise one's own skill level in response to a particularly difficult challenge.
That's actually a really good definition of it.
Yeah. Let's see what else we have here.
I'm surprised GG's not on this list.
Is GG on here?
No. Good game.
GG Easy? Is that one? GG
Easy is not on here.
Why? Why not? It should be. That's such a gamer term.
Like a timeless, like.
It is, but GG Easy is like GG Easy no re, like that kind of shit. You know,
aggro, ADS, AOE, bullet sponge, CPRG, classic role playing game.
Nah, no one says that.
Yeah, nobody says CRPG.
No.
Cheesing.
Some of these I've never heard. Yeah, you're right. Like ARPG, never heard of.
Action RPG.
I've never heard. I mean, that's what it is. I've never heard anyone.
Action role playing game. Yeah, I've never heard of that. Ganking.
ADS. Have you ever heard anyone say
ganking?
That?
Is that what you just said?
I said ganking. Ganking
so like in Dota
so like steal a kill.
The League of Legends.
Yeah, like if you steal somebody's kill. Oh man. Anyway, procedurally generated, permadeath, RAM.
Roguelite, is that on there?
Roguelite is not on there.
Why? That's like one of the. What about Souls-like?
Nope.
Those are like two of the biggest like terms in gaming currently, and like they're not on there. What the fuck?
With zoning. So I mean, like, it's a very bare bones. Like, this is like if you sent your child to like the Scholastic Book Fair and they're like, "Hey guys, you want to learn gamer words?" And it's like a $5 book, like three
I don't
pages
know.
long.
Man. I don't think you should say you want to learn gamer words if you actually know what that term means.
It's gamer words, not the gamer word. Gamer
Also,
words.
interestingly, on here
No. There's multiple gamer words. Basically, gamer words, which would actually be a terminology that could have shown up in that book if it had any semblance of meaning. Gamer words are when people use certain types of slurs in all chat, and you're like, "Oh, they're throwing around the gamer words."
Well, yeah, but I thought it was interesting. I just want to know what intern they gave this project to.
Yeah, me too, honestly.
I mean, they did a decent job with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
some of these definitions are well written.
Yeah.
Who's it for? Don't know. But I was saying for O's, I thought it was interesting. Like, they have OP, OHK, and then out of bounds, which is funny because out of bounds, I think I've only ever seen abbreviated, and they don't ever mention it as OOB. Yeah.
Oob. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So if you want to get up on your gamer dictionary, go look for it on the PlayStation blog. Yeah. So those are the only, I think, news stories that I saw this.
Yeah, I had two
week.
other quick ones. Oh shit, what's that game called? I already forgot. I'll describe it. It's like it was a very big like hit game a year or two ago, and
Among Us.
Among Us.
It was same era, same time frame as Among Us. It's like a mini game kind of thing where you're doing these different challenges.
Oh,
into these little jelly bean people.
Fall Guys.
Yes, Fall Guys, yeah, that game's going free to play on June 21st.
Yeah. And cross-plat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and cross-platform.
Yeah, so that's pretty exciting. New stuff. And the other one, it just because it kind of came up with what we were talking about earlier, and it's kind of like non-news, but Tantalus, who did the port of Twilight Princess to the Wii U, and also did the Skyward Sword port to the Switch, apparently is not working on any porting of Zelda games right now, according to the CEO.
No Zelda games.
Yeah, which is I read that as like I know some people are getting bent out of shape about it because they're like, well, that means they're not coming, but it doesn't necessarily mean that either.
Yeah.
They already ported it like as an HD thing, so it's not like it would need that much work. Just take out the framework of the extra pad and you're good to go. Nintendo could probably just do that in house with like a small team, especially because they did Wind Waker themselves, so they were going to do like a 2-pack. Like, why get them involved? They were probably busy working on Skyward Sword when they would be thinking about it anyways. There was something. How I look at it. But some people are like, this is proof that it's definitely not coming anytime soon. I just think it's just kind of like a non-news kind of thing. But just something to think about. Because I agree, Brandon. I do think those games are coming.
They've got to be, right?
Yeah. I feel like that's going to be like something they just kind of sneak in for the end of the year. Interestingly, and I didn't realize this, but apparently there's been a Zelda game or Zelda something like every year pretty much since the Switch came out.
So, oh, wow. That's impressive.
Yeah, because you had, what was it? You had Breath of the Wild, then you had Link's Awakening, you had Hyrule Warriors, you had Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, you had Skyward Sword. So there's always been something there. So would they not do something this year because Breath of the Wild 2 got pushed? I don't know. I think they'll just shove something. I think we talked about it's a nice like October release kind of thing. So just kind of slip that in there, or even like August, kind of slip that in there, double pack, get her done, and you're good to go. So yeah, that was all the extra news stuff that I had. I don't know anything else. Unless you guys got anything, Brandon.
Nope, nothing.
All right, you guys ready to wrap up?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to us tonight. Don't forget you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google, Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts. Or you can find us at our website, game-crunch.com. If you want to reach out to us on Facebook, Twitter, or you can send us an email at gamecrunchcast@gmail.com. Brandon.
I got nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
No exciting stream this week?
No.
All right. Nick?
Nope, not really.
All right. Well, that said, I'm Spike Anastasia. You can find me online. I'm Clash of Penguin on Twitter. or your favorite gaming console. And until next week, game on.
Games. And then if you
Hello.
Brandon.
I think the Steam Deck got him.
Oh no.
It like, you ever watch those old Virtual Boy commercials where it like hunts the guy down?
Gets him.
Yeah, that's what the Steam Deck just did.
Got him.
And just wrapped on his face so he can't escape. Wonder if you can stick the Steam Deck in a little cardboard box and use it for VR.
Oh my god.